Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to our study along. It's that time again of the world order of Baha'u'llah. My camera is being a little persnickety, so we will see how far it allows us to get. All right. Welcome back if you are a regular to the study along, and welcome if you are here for the first time. This is an ongoing series of me reading the World Order of Baha'u'llah, Selected Letters by Shoghi Effendi. Linked in the description, you will find the launch video for this project to orient you as to what and why and all that stuff, as well as this document if you want to follow along, and the playlist of all of the weekly readings leading up to today, if you want to catch up. All right, my friends. So last week we read the section called The Principle of Oneness. And in my own words, Shoghi Effendi was talking about many things, really important, big things. But one thing that really stood out that he's going to be continuing on as we jump in today is how the world really needs a cohesive system of functioning. And what's different from this vision that he's laying out, like putting more practical articulation to Baha'u'llah's blueprint, is how all the countries and cultures should be honored and allowed to function in a sovereign way. So there's no grinding down of personal will or cultural expression or anything like that. It's not a unity based on conformity. It's a unity in diversity, but a unity with practical elements and plans of cohesion nonetheless. And he's sort of poo-pooing people who poo-poo the idea of this sort of unity, right? That people are afraid of it, or they just don't want to, and sort of like a child, fighting with a sibling, not wanting to share their toy or whatever it is. Those are all my own words. But that's where we're coming in today from. So this is called the Federation of Mankind. And Shoghi Effendi says, to take but one instance, how confident were the assertions made in the days preceding the unification of the states of the North American continent regarding the insuperable barriers that stood in the way of their ultimate federation, right? So we've always had these naysayers, right? Once upon a time, people said there's no way that these states could unite. Was it not widely and emphatically declared that the conflicting interests, the mutual distrust, the differences of government and habit that divided the states were such as no force, whether spiritual or temporal, could ever hope to harmonize or control them? And yet, how different were the conditions prevailing 150 years ago from those that characterize present-day society. It would indeed be no exaggeration to say that the absence of those facilities which modern scientific progress has placed at the service of humanity in our time made of the problem welding the American states into a single federation similar, though they were in certain traditions a task infinitely more complex than that which confronts a divided humanity in its effort to achieve the unification of all mankind. I have a little note here that says, interesting. So I hope you followed that. I feel like he's saying we grew into it. 150 years ago, things were much different than they were at the time of his writing or today. But we did become the United States, and we've grown since then. So the fact that we can't currently picture exactly how this is all going to work on a global scale does not mean in and of itself it is impossible. That's one understanding that I take from this section. You guys drop in the comments what you think. Who knows that for so exalted a conception to take shape, a suffering more intense than any it has yet experienced will have to be inflicted upon humanity. Could anything less than the fire of a civil war, with all its violence and vicissitudes, a war that nearly rent the great American Republic, have welded the states not only into a union of independent units, but into a nation, in spite of all the ethnic differences that characterized its component parts? Oh, wow, that's so scary, you guys. Like, it's beautiful and it's terrifying that the fire, the tribulations of that war actually helped bring America closer. That's so fundamental a revolution involving such far-reaching changes in the structure of society can be achieved through the ordinary processes of diplomacy and education seems highly improbable. We have to but turn our gaze to humanity's blood-stained history to realize that nothing short of intense mental as well as physical agony has been able to precipitate those epoch-making changes that constitute the greatest landmarks in the history of human civilization. Yikes, you guys, yikes. But is anyone surprised? This next section is called the Fire of Ordeal. Great and far-reaching as have been those changes in the past, they cannot appear, when viewed in their proper perspective, except as subsidiary adjustments, preluding that transformation of unparalleled majesty and scope which humanity is in this age bound to undergo. That the forces of a world catastrophe can alone precipitate such a new phase of human thought is, alas, becoming increasingly apparent. That nothing short of the fire of a severe ordeal, unparalleled in its intensity, can fuse and weld the discordant entities that constitute the elements of present-day civilization into the integral components of the world commonwealth of the future is a truth which future events will increasingly demonstrate. Wow, you guys, are you with me? You following this? That the forces of a world catastrophe can alone precipitate such a new phase of human thought is becoming increasingly apparent. That nothing short of the fire of a severe ordeal, unparalleled in its intensity, can fuse and weld the discordant entities that constitute the elements of present-day civilization into the integral components of the world commonwealth of the future. Wow. Put on your seatbelts and say your prayers. The prophetic voice of Baha'u'llah warning in the concluding passages of the hidden words, the peoples of the world, that an unforeseen calamity is following them and that grievous retribution awaiteth them, throws indeed a lurid light upon the immediate fortunes of sorrowing humanity. Nothing but a fiery ordeal out of which humanity will emerge chastened and prepared can succeed in implanting that sense of responsibility which the leaders of a newborn age must arise to shoulder. I would again direct your attention to those ominous words of Baha'u'llah, which I have already quoted. And when the appointed hour is come, there shall suddenly appear that which shall cause the limbs of mankind to quake. Has not Abdul-Baha himself asserted in unequivocal language that another war, fiercer than the last, will assuredly break out? Again, you guys, this is 1931. Yes. So we're between the two world wars here. However, just the fact that we are now on the other side of a world war from when Shoghi Effendi is writing, I don't think we should assume that this has all already happened and that we are in the clear, because we haven't become a unified world yet. So that's just me here. Upon the consummation of this colossal, this unspeakably glorious enterprise, an enterprise that baffled the resources of Roman statesmanship and which Napoleon's desperate efforts failed to achieve, will depend the ultimate realization of that millennium of which poets of all ages have sung and seers have long dreamed. Upon it will depend the fulfillment of the prophecies uttered by the prophets of old, when swords shall be beaten into plowshares, and the lion and the lamb lie down together. It alone can usher in the kingdom of the Heavenly Father as anticipated by the faith of Jesus Christ. It alone can lay the foundation for the new world order visualized by Baha'u'llah, a world order that shall reflect, however dimly upon this earthly plane, the ineffable splendors of the Abha kingdom. One more word in conclusion. The proclamation of the oneness of mankind, the head cornerstone of Baha'u'llah's all-embracing dominion, can under no circumstances be compared with such expressions of pious hope as have been uttered in the past. His is not merely a call which he raised, alone and unaided, in the face of the relentless and combined opposition of two of the most powerful Oriental potentates of his day, while himself an exile and prisoner in their hands. It implies at once a warning and a promise. A warning that in it lies the sole means for the salvation of a greatly suffering world, a promise that its realization is at hand. Uttered at a time when its possibility had not yet been seriously envisaged in any part of the world, it has, by virtue of that celestial potency which the Spirit of Baha'u'llah has breathed into it, come at last to be regarded by an increasing number of thoughtful men, not only as an approaching possibility, but as the necessary outcome of the forces now operating in the world. All right, my friends, we have one more section of that letter that I will read next week. As always, please feel free to comment your thoughts, like, share, subscribe. It's the YouTube game. It just helps increase my reach and also will allow me to do live streams with you guys. I know so many people have been like deplatformed from YouTube, so I'm so lucky to be here, and I would love to be able to like interact with you live. So the more you subscribe and tell your friends and share these videos, the faster we will get to that. I would like to wish you a happy Race Amity Day, RAD, or Race Unity Day, coming up on Sunday. Growing up as a kid, we always had celebrations in San Antonio, outside and really hot, but really cool also. So happy Race Unity Day on Sunday. And I will be releasing a special podcast on Tuesday in honor of the great Thomas Sowell. If you would like to encourage my work, if you enjoy this content, there are many ways that you can do that and support this channel. I have a PayPal tip jar, which is up on the top right of my YouTube page. It's also linked in the description. I also have a Patreon page if you would like to be an ongoing sponsor of this channel and get access to all kinds of exclusive behind the scenes stuff that I provide, art tutorials, chances to help name my paintings, just lots of other interactive perks. Go to patreon.com/Jacqueline Claire Art to check that out. Membership starts at just $3 a month, and it helps me and it means so much to me, and we get to collaborate. And as you know, I'm also an artist, so check out JacquelineClaireArt.com. That's really my true life's work and passion. If you need some beauty to bring into your home, or you want to give some really unique original gifts, there are prints, there are originals, and some products. So check out JacquelineClaireArt.com. All right, my friends, until next time, I wish you the best for playing your unique part in making this world a better place. I'll catch you next time.